Thank you, Sam. All right, it is President's Day, and I think an appropriate day to talk about a man that many consider to be our greatest president. You may not consider him that way, but I don't want to talk about it like that. There is a new book that's called Lincoln and Douglas, and it looks into the series of debates that Lincoln and Stephen A. Douglas had back in 1858. You've all heard of him. And here with us today is the author, Jan Jacoby, who is also a longtime educator here in St. Louis, to talk about his new book. We welcome you to My St. Louis Live.
Well, thank you, Ken.
We're so glad to have you here
it's
today.
wonderful.
So let's talk about this. This is the third book in a series that you've put together on Lincoln. What sparked your interest in Lincoln in particular?
Well, as I told you earlier, I'm a middle school teacher and middle school principal. And when I first came to St. Louis in 1982, in the 80s, we took our students up to Springfield, and I got hooked on Lincoln.
A lot of people do
Then
after that visit.
Absolutely. Then
Yeah.
they asked me, is there a book about Lincoln for us? And I said no, and they said, well, you should write it. So I really owe this to my students.
And with your time as a middle school teacher and principal, I have to say you look pretty good for having been through that. You should get combat pay for that gig.
Not at all. If you fall in love with them, it's easy.
All right. Why is Lincoln, you think, so relevant today? And who did you kind of intend this book for?
Well, good question. The books are really middle school, high school, but adults have enjoyed them too. And really, for all of those, I think that the thing about Lincoln, if you think about what we're living through, he would say, first of all, trust the Constitution. He would say, let's look for the center in all of this. Let's listen to each other, and then remember malice towards none and charity towards all. I think if we practice that, I think we'll come through.
I would have to agree with that. You have been an educator all your life, most of your working life. Why do you think Lincoln appeals to young adults so much?
Well, if you get inside, the one thing here is these books are written first person, as if Lincoln's telling the story himself.
Oh, okay.
And in doing that, they learn about what Lincoln was going through as a person. So he had many challenges, he had struggles, disappointments, and he kept going. Lincoln and Douglas is a bit like the tortoise and the hare. Douglas rushed to this. He was a brilliant politician, very popular, won election to the House and the Senate. And Lincoln was a political wannabe, really. But he was the tortoise, ever so slowly building character. So when his time came, he was ready.
Now, when these debates took place, I'm just curious, because the news didn't travel like it does now. Did people hear about that, or was it only the people that witnessed it that voted for Lincoln because they felt they were impressed by that?
That's an excellent question and point. What happens is that through newspapers, which are the television and internet of the 19th century, the transcripts of these debates go across the country.
Dan, thank you so much. To get your hands on Lincoln and Douglas, you can head to your local bookstore or you can visit readypress.com. We will also post this segment following the show at firstalert4.com/MySTL Live. Really interesting book. Pleasure to meet you,
Ken.
sir. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Yeah, take care.
Laura?